Let's be honest for a moment. Most people don't struggle with money because they don't earn enough. They struggle because they were never taught how money actually works. And that's the uncomfortable truth nobody likes to hear. You might think becoming rich is about luck, or having a high-paying job, or starting the next big business idea. But if that was true, then millions of people working 9-to-5 jobs or chasing opportunities would already be financially free. They're not. And that's where the real problem begins. Because being rich is not just about money coming in, it's about what happens to the money after it enters your life. Most people earn, spend, repeat, earn, spend, repeat. And they stay stuck in that loop for years, even decades, without realizing they're running on a financial treadmill that never moves forward. The harsh truth is this: your habits are stronger than your income. If you give a person with bad financial habits $1 million, they will eventually lose it. And if you give a person with strong financial discipline a small income, they will eventually build wealth from it. So the question is not how much do you earn? The real question is, what are you doing with what you earn? Now here's where things get even more uncomfortable. Most people don't want to face their money habits. They want shortcuts. They want hacks. They want a quick way to get rich. But wealth doesn't respond to shortcuts. It responds to consistency, discipline, and delayed gratification. And in today's world, that's rare. We live in a time where people want instant results but are unwilling to do long-term thinking. They want expensive lifestyles before they build valuable skills. They want financial freedom while still being emotionally controlled by spending impulses. And that's exactly why most people will never become rich. Not because they can't, but because they won't change. Let's break it down further. Every financial decision you make is shaping your future. Every unnecessary purchase, every ignored saving habit, every "I'll start tomorrow" mindset, it all adds up. Slowly, silently, it builds a financial identity for you. And that identity determines your entire financial life. The rich don't just have more money. They think differently about money. They treat money like a tool, not a reward. They invest before they impress. They build before they spend. They delay satisfaction while others chase comfort. Meanwhile, most people do the opposite. They spend first, save what's left, if anything is left, and hope things will somehow improve later. But hope is not a strategy, and that's why this truth is harsh. Because it removes excuses. It forces you to look at your own behavior, your own discipline, your own choices. It stops you from blaming your salary, your environment, or the economy, and makes you face the one thing you actually control: yourself. Now, this doesn't mean change is impossible. It means change is uncomfortable. And most people avoid discomfort at all costs, even if it costs them their future. So if you're watching this thinking there must be an easier way, there isn't. But if you're willing to face the reality, change your habits, and think differently about money, then you're already ahead of most people. Because the truth is simple. You don't become rich by accident. You become rich by decision. And in this video, we're going to break down exactly why most people stay stuck financially, and what actually separates those who struggle from those who build real wealth. Let's get into it. Let's go deeper into something most people avoid thinking about. If you observe closely, you'll notice something interesting. It's not intelligence that separates rich people from everyone else. It's not even education. There are highly educated people who struggle financially, and there are dropouts who build massive wealth. So what is it? It's behavior. Money is not just math, it's behavior multiplied over time. And this is where most people silently fail. The average person makes money and immediately assigns it to spending. Bills, food, entertainment, lifestyle upgrades, unnecessary purchases, they all come first. Saving and investing? If anything is left, maybe then. But here's the problem. Nothing is usually left. And this is the cycle that quietly traps most people for life. You earn, you spend, you wait for the next paycheck. You feel temporarily satisfied, then stressed again. And this loop repeats for years until you start believing that this is just life. But that's not life. That's conditioning. Now let's talk about something even more uncomfortable. Instant gratification. Modern life is built to destroy your financial future while making you feel comfortable in the present. Social media shows you lifestyles you can't afford. Ads convince you that happiness is one purchase away. Friends and environment push you to enjoy life now without thinking about tomorrow. So what happens? People start prioritizing emotional satisfaction over financial stability. They buy things they don't need with money they don't have to impress people they don't even like, and they call it living. But in reality, they are slowly trading their future freedom for temporary pleasure. And the worst part? It feels normal because everyone around them is doing the same thing. Now let's break another myth. Income is not the problem. Most people think, if I just earned more, my problems would disappear. But that's not how it works, because expenses expand with income. Someone earning $500 a month struggles. Someone earning $5,000 a month often still struggles. Why? Because their lifestyle adjusts. They upgrade their phone, their car, their rent, their habits, and suddenly they are back at zero again. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it quietly destroys wealth before it even begins. Wealth is not built by how much you earn. It is built by the gap between what you earn and what you spend, and what you do with that gap. Now here's where things get even more real. Most people don't lack opportunities. They lack consistency. Everyone wants results, but very few are willing to do something for years without seeing immediate success. That's why people jump from one idea to another. One day it's trading, next day it's freelancing, next day it's YouTube, then crypto, then drop shipping. No consistency, no mastery, just constant switching. And wealth does not come from jumping, it comes from sticking. Every financially successful person you see today went through a boring phase, a long phase where nothing exciting happened. No fame, no recognition, just quiet discipline, saving, learning, building, repeating. But most people quit during that phase because it doesn't feel rewarding. And that's exactly why they stay stuck. Now let's talk about something deeper, financial education. Most people spend over a decade in school, but never learn how taxes work, how investing works, how debt works, or how money actually grows. So they enter adulthood financially blind, and when you don't understand money, you become controlled by it. You work for money instead of making money work for you. You earn, but you don't grow. You survive, but you don't build. And that's how generations stay stuck in the same financial position. But here's the truth nobody emphasizes enough. Money follows clarity. If you don't have a clear financial direction, your money will always disappear into random directions. Now let's address another uncomfortable reality: discipline. Discipline is the real currency of wealth. Not motivation, not inspiration, not talent, discipline. Because motivation is temporary, it comes and goes. But discipline is what you do when you don't feel like doing it. And most people fail here. They want to save money, but they don't. They want to invest, but they delay. They want to build skills, but they get distracted. They want financial freedom, but they keep choosing comfort. So the gap between what they want and what they do keeps growing. And that gap becomes their life. Now let's talk about risk. Most people avoid risk completely, thinking it will protect them. But in reality, avoiding all risk is itself the biggest risk. Because if you avoid learning new skills, avoid investing, avoid starting something, avoid improving your income sources, you are choosing guaranteed stagnation. And stagnation is just slow financial decline. Inflation keeps rising. Costs keep increasing. But if your income and skills stay the same, your financial position actually weakens over time. So staying safe is not safe at all. It's just hidden loss. Now here's the harshest truth of all. Nobody's coming to fix your financial life. Not your job, not the government, not your environment, not your family. At some point, you have to accept full responsibility. And that moment is uncomfortable because it removes excuses. But it also gives you power. Because once you accept that you are the reason for your current situation, you also realize you are the solution. You are not stuck because of the world. You are stuck because of patterns you repeat daily. And patterns can be changed, but only if you're willing to be honest with yourself. So if you're wondering why you're not getting ahead financially, it's not some hidden secret. It's the small decisions you make every day. What you spend, what you save, what you ignore, what you repeat, what you delay. Wealth is built slowly, quietly, repeatedly. And the truth is simple but uncomfortable. Most people will never be rich, not because they can't, but because they won't change the way they live. But the moment you decide to change your habits, your discipline, and your thinking, you stop being most people. And that's where everything begins to shift. So let's bring everything back to one simple point. Being rich was never only about money. It was always about mindset, discipline, and the daily decisions you make when no one is watching. If you watched this video and felt uncomfortable, that's actually a good sign, because discomfort usually shows you where truth is hitting your reality. And most people avoid that feeling. They scroll away, distract themselves, and convince themselves that things will somehow improve later. But later is where most dreams go to die. Because nothing changes if nothing changes. You can't keep living the same habits, thinking the same way, repeating the same financial mistakes, and expect a different life to appear on its own. That's not how wealth works. That's not how life works. The truth is simple but powerful. Your future self is being built by your current behavior. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, you are building wealth. Every time you save instead of waste, you are buying freedom. Every time you learn a skill instead of consuming distraction, you are upgrading your future income. And every time you ignore those things, you are also making a choice. Most people don't realize that doing nothing is also a decision. Staying the same is still a direction. It's just a direction that leads nowhere new. But here's the good news. Nothing about your situation is permanent. Not your income, not your habits, not your mindset, not your financial status. Everything can change if you start changing what you do daily. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need a huge breakthrough. You don't need to wait for the right time. You just need consistency in the right direction. Small actions repeated over time create massive results. That's the part most people underestimate. And that's exactly why most people stay stuck. So if there's one thing to take from this video, let it be this. Stop thinking like someone who is trying to survive and start thinking like someone who is building. Because survival keeps you busy, but building sets you free. Now the choice is yours. You can go back to old habits, old thinking, and old results. Or you can start making decisions that your future self will thank you for. And remember this, wealth doesn't start in your bank account. It starts in your mind. If you found value in this, stay consistent, stay focused, and don't just watch content like this, apply it. Because knowledge without action is just entertainment. And action is where everything changes.